there. This is one of my favorite subjects today. It's a little hard. I find it in where we are today with people that negotiating sometimes just goes right out the window. It's either black or it's white. There's nothing in between that can keep parties civil and negotiating. Both parties getting what they want, really. Because remember, in real estate, if you're the buyer or you're the seller, if you're the buyer, you want to buy something. If you're the seller, you want to sell. So negotiating often is a very good thing. That's why a lot of homes don't sell. That's why a lot of home buyers don't try. They just decide, it's enough of this. I'm just going to find a place to rent. It's about negotiating. And it doesn't have to be a screaming disagreement. It needs to be take the work in hand and see what can be done. And we forget that sometimes. At least I see that quite often. So I just want to talk about everything in that contract is negotiable. Okay. Everything that we're going to be touching is negotiable. And it can be worked out, whatever it is. Remember, you have a buyer that wants to buy and a seller that wants to sell. And the buyer likes the house, the seller likes the house. They bought the house. So let's see what we can do. Where can we use some strategy to negotiate versus just throwing up our hands? They're everywhere. And I'll tell you, an experienced agent makes a difference in negotiation. They've been through it. Okay. They have a little heads up on doing that and where you want to be. Number one, the closing date. Okay, that's negotiable. How soon do you want to close? Most of the time they throw out a date without thinking about it at all. Then the seller says, no, we have to close sooner. And because we have to, whatever, we have to close sooner to that. So you go back, you negotiate. How can you make this everybody happy? You negotiate. Find out why they have to leave early. What can be done to help in this situation? And work it out. Let's see what else I have here. Financing. Everybody prefers cash. We know that. Conventional is the next one that they really like. But what is your situation? What is your cash? What can you negotiate with a bank, with a loan company, with your family, somewhere to make it work? It's a negotiation, so everybody wins. You're not asking for a handout, you're asking to a work along. That's what you're asking for. Closing costs. Both the buyer and seller are going to have closing costs. That's just the way it works here. And it's usually 2 to 5% of the purchase price in just closing costs for them. So they have to take a look at that, see what can be negotiated. In the buyer's ability to pay is big, especially if they're a first-time buyer. They may have to negotiate some contingency with the seller, something, because their cash is going to run short of what they predicted they were going to need. Earnest money. Earnest money is usually 1 to 3%. The more you put down, the more comfortable the seller feels that you're really interested in this property. If you're looking at $1 million property, you can't put that on the house. You need to make a pretty good earnest money deposit there. Inspections. Sometimes you can, to speed things up a little bit, you can say, I just won't do an inspection. I don't recommend it. But it is negotiable. negotiation. And I do not recommend, but it's been done. The compensations for the agents are always negotiable. You know that now you have compensation paid by the buyer to the buyer's agent and the selling to the selling. It's always been that way. That's all negotiable. It can be worked out between the brokerages and between everybody. You could pay the buyer can pay the buyer's agent. A concession from the seller could do it, or a portion of the listing agent compensation. In other words, I charge 3%, and you have buyer's agent who charges 3%. I could up my charge to 6%, and my brokerage will pay your buyer. It's another way to get it done. You're still paying the buyer, but it's wrapped up in the sell of the property. Home warranty. That's a negotiable thing, because if your seller's concerned about a home, I had a home once, there were concerns. We didn't quite feel like we were being told everything. So it turned out we weren't. And I tried to negotiate a home warranty for these people. They're not going to do it, but they really want it. So I bought it for them, closed the deal. Everybody was happy. Several times, something like this. One time, something had gotten broken. I won't say what, but the night before, and the seller didn't tell us. And the buyer came in and found it, and he wasn't going to buy the house. He wanted out the deal. And it was to replace it, it was going to be around $600. So that was a reason to be upset. And we were not getting anywhere on that. So I said, okay, I'll pay $200. My seller will pay $200. And the other agent said they would pay $200. So we closed up this negotiation. Things can be worked out. The attorney review clause to make, if they're questioning things in the, a lot of people come to Florida, they come from another state. They do things differently in another state. They do it this way here. And they need reassurance that, yeah, this is the way we do it here. So they have 3 days. They can do that. But they need to keep in mind that our documents are written by Florida realtors. We have attorneys that write these. We just have a license to use them. We have not written this yet, and everything is negotiable. So keep that in mind when you're maybe afraid of going on the market or getting out there and thinking about buying a house, and things aren't exactly perfect on either side of the transaction there, that things can be negotiated and you can't make it work. Not always, but a lot of times I see it works on that. So give it a chance. Thank you again. See you again soon. Bye.